Yes, indeed. B Marsh Boxing at it with another boxing video. Was good boxing heads and fight fans around the world. So, Alexander Usyk defends on his first undisputed title defense of all four of his belts, and he gets it done in the eighth round with a stoppage, knocking out the man Tony Bellew. You know what I mean? It was a good fight. It was nip and tuck for the first 3 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Then I think Alexander Usyk got into his comfort zone, gauged his distance correctly. Was using that jab and that left hand. He couldn't miss with it. You know what I mean? But Tony Bellew, man, he had a good career. You know what I mean? He at least he achieved his childhood dream, winning a world title. But Alexander Usyk, that's why this guy's definitely he's in my top three pound for pound. You know what I mean? You got to put him up there. The man conquered a whole division in the cruiserweight. You know what I'm saying? Not only is he undisputed, you know what I mean, and defending in his, a first title defense, has a title defense under his cruiserweight. The man won that Muhammad Ali World Boxing Super Series, you know what I mean? Came home with a trophy. So the man has enough hardware. You know what I'm saying? As you can see on the flick right there in the thumbnail, man got enough hardware. So what's next for the guy, you know what I mean? You know, guess some people suggesting the man should move up to heavyweight, you know what I'm saying? Me personally, whatever's best for him, you know what I mean? Whatever fights make sense, you check it. You know what I'm saying? There's some people out there in the heavyweights that he could fight. You know, it's you know, since he's over there with Matchroom, he said it himself. He would like to fight the man Anthony Joshua. But after he beat this was before he fought Bellew. After he fought Bellew, you know what I'm saying? He said he's gonna take his time, you know what I mean? And he's not gonna go straight away to fight the man Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, if the man Usyk, you know what I'm saying, if the man could win some fights at heavyweight, that's gonna be a fight that's gonna be made over there in Matchroom. I could see it happening. Yeah, I mean they definitely could. The build up is two guys who Olympian gold medalists. You know what I mean? Both guys got gold medals. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a fight that probably will happen if the man Alexander Usyk, can get through some good heavyweights. But which heavyweights can he fight? You know what I mean? The man has never exceeded over 200 pounds in a professional fight. So, these new heavyweights, man, they're of a different mold. You know what I mean? They built different from the heavyweights of yesteryear. You check it. So I think the man Alexander Usyk, you know, you know, I've heard mention of people saying, Dillian White. You know what I mean? That'd be a massive win. You know what I'm saying? And actually, that would be a fight if I was Alexander Usyk, and I'm considering fighting heavyweights. That's definitely a fight that I'll be trying to plan and prepare for. You know what I mean? You check it. Dillian White said he'll maul the guy. You know what I mean? If they fought and if he wanted, he can have it. You know what I'm saying? So that's open invitation right there for the man Alexander Usyk. You know what I mean? Get his mind right. You know, face guys like Dillian White. You know what I mean? There's gonna be a big size difference. You know what I mean? The man Alexander Usyk, he gonna have to get on a whole different kind of regiment. You know what I mean? He's gonna have to be on his peanut butter protein shakes. He's gonna have to bulk up. You know what I mean? He's gonna have to be like on some Evander Holyfield shit when Holyfield went up to heavyweight. Even Holyfield, he himself though, them fellas when he came up to heavyweight, he ain't go for the Top Gun immediately. You know what I'm saying? You know, the man Holyfield, after he became undisputed when he beat Carlos De Leon for the WBC belt, he had the WBA and the IBF. Them fellas went up there to heavyweight. He ain't fighting Mike Tyson immediately. You know what I mean? You check it, but that was a fight that people were asking for. You know what I'm saying? But the man Holyfield, he knew better. You know what I'm saying? He gotta get his feet wet at at heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? I remember when he fought Pinklin Thomas. You know what I mean? He fought a couple former world champions in Pinklin Thomas and Michael Dokes. You know what I mean? And the man, what's his name? Alexander Usyk, if he goes up to heavyweight, man, he better expect he's gonna go to war. He's gonna have a fight that's gonna test his character, like that fight with Holyfield and Michael Dokes. You know what I mean? Holyfield, he took a beating in there, but he gave Michael Dokes a beating. You know what I'm saying? And they both was going at it, but eventually Holyfield stopped him. You know what I mean? And that was a test of his character right there to see if he can withstand that kind of punishment at the heavyweight. And Evander Holyfield, he passed, and that's boxing. You know what I mean? Can what you gonna do when you go through adversity? And Alexander Usyk, in my opinion, in the heavy in his career, he hasn't faced adversity. You know what I mean? The closest he got to was fighting the man Marius Breedis, you know what I'm saying? But, that was a fight that I thought he won clearly. But, it was a fight that, he didn't look too good, you know what I'm saying? But neither did Breedis. It was just one of them kind of fights. That's what Marius Breedis bring to the table, you know what I mean? Nobody, if he ain't gonna look good, nobody will. You know what I mean? Only time he said he gonna look good was when he fought Manuel Char and knocked him out. You know what I mean? So, you see Holyfield, like I said, he went up there, but he ain't fight Mike Tyson immediately. You know what I mean? He fought at least five heavyweights. You know what I mean? I remember he fought Alex Stewart. You know what I mean? Jamaican fella. Them fellas, he got stopped too. You know. So you know what I mean? Them fellas, Usyk, if he goes up to heavyweight, I think that fight, if he fought with Dillian White, that's the fight right there. Because Dillian White is a guy who fights. Fuck that boxing shit. You know what I'm saying? Them fellas is just a fighter from his mixed martial arts days. You know what I mean? Kickboxing, to boxing. The guy's a fighter. You know what I mean? He talks like a fighter. You check it. Now it's up to see if he, you know what I mean, what he can do with the guy like Usyk. You know what I'm saying? You know, Alexander Usyk's best bet would be try to take him into deep waters. You know what I mean? See, them fellas might gas out like he did versus the man Parker. You check it in the later rounds. You know what I mean? And that's where a guy like Usyk could take advantage. You know what I mean? If it goes the distance, I would favor Usyk in that fight. Um, and I would favor the man, what's his name, by KO. You check it. What's his name? Dillian White. Shizbiz is in the chat. What's good, Shizbiz? How you feeling, man? He says, big up, B Marsh. Big ups to you, my friend. Thanks for coming through. You know what I mean? So, that would definitely be a barn burner. And that would be the fight to test as well, just like the Michael Dokes and Holyfield. I just might watch that fight today, you know what I mean? I just might go ahead and watch that fight. That fight was war. That fight was just like Muhammad Kawi and Holyfield. That was another fight, but that was at, what I'm saying, at cruiserweight. You know what I mean? That fight was war right there too. You check it. Um, so which other heavyweights out there? You know what I mean? There's guys like Manuel Char. Holds the WBA regular heavyweight belt. I think he could beat him. You know what I'm saying? I think Usyk could beat him to get his feet wet. And, beating him will put him in line for a WBA, title shot. You know what I'm saying? To go the Anthony Joshua route. You know what I mean? You know? So that's a winnable fight for him right there. And also, I think a guy he could take out right now. You know what I'm saying? Get him the fuck up out of here. Process of elimination. You see guys like Kubra Pulev and Povetkin, they've been laying around in the cut, fighting a lot of bums. And the man Povetkin, them fellas was on steroids and who knows for how long he was on the bad substance, you know what I mean? But guys like Kubra Pulev and Povetkin, you know what I mean? Guys who played it safe their whole career up until they got that Vladimir Klitschko shot. And the man Povetkin, he avoided that Klitschko shot for years till he had no other choice. You know what I mean? But a guy like Pulev is Usyk, that would be a good fight, and a big fight over there in Eastern Europe. You know what I'm saying? You check it. That's a fight right there. That if I'm if the man Alexander Usyk is considering going to the heavyweight division, he should try to get that man Pulev up out of here. You know what I mean? You check it. Push him to the side, get him out the top 10 heavyweight scene. You know what I mean? And show there's a new player in town. Fix GRR in the chat. What's happening, big man? He says, Usyk fight of the year. I didn't realize he was in 3 title fights this year. He's my fighter of the year when he won against Bellew and in his first title defense of all of his undisputed belts. He solidified it for me. You know what I mean? You check it. Deontay Wilder might be in the running too, depending on how he can beat the man and how, in which fashion if he does beat the man. Tyson Fury, you know what I mean? Even Tyson Fury could be in the running too if he can beat the man Wilder. But I think as of right now, I gotta run with the man Usyk. Shizbit says Usyk would give Ortiz that work. I think that'd be a difficult fight too. You know what I mean? That'd be a difficult fight for the man Usyk. You know what I'm saying? That's another southpaw too. You know what I'm saying? A southpaw just like him. So I think if he takes him into deep waters too, you know what I'm saying, and test the man's stamina, you know what I mean, and he's also gonna have to be on his movement, you know what I'm saying, because coming forward is not really his forte. When he's tried to come forward versus guys like Michael Hunter and even guys like Tabisa Muchunu, his first HBO debut in the early rounds, he's actually a slow starter in general, you know what I'm saying, so that just might be the case, you know what I mean. You check it, but uh, he did come forward in the later rounds versus when he stopped the man Tony Bellew, and I just think Tony Bellew just gassed out in his punch resistance, man. He got caught with a nice double jab combination in the left hand, and it shook his legs up. You know what I mean? And he had no defense after that. You know what I'm saying? He had the stunned face look on his face, and just a jab set up with the left hand knocked him out. You know what I mean? So, Tony Bellew was also coming down in weight. You check it, but I think Ortiz versus Usyk would be a good fight too. But I wouldn't give him that fight on his first go around on as a heavyweight. You know what I mean? I think that'd be playing with fire right there. You know what I'm saying? Ortiz is say what you want about Ortiz, but he's one of the most skilled heavyweights in the division as far as his skill set. You know what I'm saying? The southpaw, you know what I'm saying? He's a good body puncher, you know what I mean? And when he lands that left, he's an accurate puncher too, you know what I'm saying? Resourceful with his punches, you know what I mean? And when he lands them, he lands with bad intentions, you know what I'm saying? Um, you know what I'm saying? Them fellas ain't go the distance with David Allen, who's a tough motherfucker, you know what I mean? You see David Allen, he's on all these Sky box office pay-per-views. He'll give fans a you know tough fights as far as action packed slugfest and all that. You know what I'm saying? But why he ain't do that for 12 rounds with Ortiz, who's supposedly an older guy? Because at the end of the day, skills pay the bills, and Ortiz does have the skills to pay the bills. Because look, if you consider Deontay Wilder a top heavyweight in the world, one or two, whichever. I mean, Ortiz was winning on the cards for most of them rounds. It was up until he got caught. The man stunned and hurt. The man Deontay Wilder in the seventh. You know what I'm saying? You check it. He ain't knock him down. You know what I'm saying? Wilder ain't hit the canvas. He ain't hit the canvas like AJ. How he got short circuited by old Vladimir Klitschko. You know what I'm saying? No shame in his game neither. Vladimir Klitschko got over 55 KOs. But Ortiz, you know what I'm saying? It's like this, man. You can't call guys some garbage because they ain't fight nobody, especially when they showing, that they in championship fights. that they could have almost got it done. You know what I'm saying? Gave the heavyweight champion a hell of a fight, and they destroying every other opponent. You know what I'm saying? You want to know if these guys are good, you got to put him in there with guys who are good. That's just how boxing goes. He ain't fight nobody. Well, he got to fight somebody first. You know what I mean? You check it. So the man Ortiz, I think he could give the man Usyk a hell of a fight, but I wouldn't put Usyk in there his first go around. Nah, I think that'd be playing with fire right there. Um, Fix GRR says, good stuff, B Marsh. You think AJ gonna hold all the belts? Yeah, he's gonna hold all the belts if he fights guys like Dillian White, Chisora, possibly Usyk, any and everybody besides Wilder. You know what I mean? And if he can, stay off the just fighting these type of opponents. You know what I mean? Most of these them European kind of heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he'll keep all his belts. Big Baby Miller, that's another option right there for the man Alexander Usyk. But again, I wouldn't put him in there with Big Baby Miller on his first go around. Regardless what you think about Big Baby and his resume and who he fought, the man is gonna possibly outweigh Usyk by 80 pounds. You know, that fella said, fuck that coming down in weight shit, trying to, be a little fitter and trimmer, coming at 273. He likes fighting at 305. You know what I mean? So that's a dangerous fight right there. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy who, he can go the distance. I've seen him go the distance, with guys like Duhaupas. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, and, that fella's willing to go the distance and let his hands go, like he does. You know what I'm saying? That could be a fight right there that the man Alexander Usyk might have trouble with. But I think if Alexander Usyk uses his good lateral movement and is as a counter puncher, you know what I'm saying, and uses his jab, I think he can beat Big Baby Miller too. But like I said, man, some of these guys, you know, regardless of what you think about their skill set, weight class, and how they physique. At the end of the day, it's not a bodybuilding contest. That's why some people, that's why some people are still talking about they don't like the Tyson Fury versus Wilder fight because they say the man's shape. You know what I'm saying? They keep looking at the man's physique. Look, the man, Tyson Fury's lost a lot of weight. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about he's in the best shape of his life, of his boxing career. You know what I'm saying? Got to get the man credit, you know what I mean, for, you know, doing what he got to do to be ready and stay ready to fight the man Deontay Wilder, you know what I'm saying? You check it, rather than a person coming out of shape and just coming there for a payday. At least the man, you would give every other fighter credit for making the effort to make weight. You know what I'm saying? No question, that's his job. But we all know it's boxing. Some guy. It's difficult for some guys to make weight. You know what I'm saying? Tyson Fury doesn't have to. He's at the heavyweight division. You know what I mean? You check it. You know, but in the mother law weights, anything below heavyweight, guys got to make weight. For some guys, it's more difficult than others. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, especially for a champion, you don't make weight on the title defense, you're going to lose your belt. Shizbit says, don't think Ortiz got the work rate. But yeah, possibly, he might not have the work rate. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And that's probably where the man, what's his name? Alexander Usyk, he might pepper him with some jabs, you know what I'm saying? Maybe some left hand combinations, you know. You check it, but he's also gonna have to, be, what I mean? It might be a good boxing match. It could go it might just be a whitewash too, you know what I'm saying? The man Alexander Usyk might just, put on a boxing clinic, you know what I'm saying? And, sh- show Luis Ortiz age, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But I think Luis Ortiz is one of the better heavyweights in boxing right now. You know what I mean? I think he's a top five heavyweight. You check it. There's not too many good heavyweights out there. There ain't too many heavyweights besides Wilder or AJ that I'd pick, to beat Luis Ortiz. The Fox Strike says Usyk should fight Lebedev if he doesn't leave cruiserweight. Yeah, that's definitely another option. Lebedev and or the winner of this World Boxing Super Series tournament going on right now that doesn't have any belts involved in it because Alexander Usyk has all the belts. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, some people have questioned what's the point of having another cruiserweight tournament. You know what I mean? Because there's so many other divisions out there in boxing. You know what I'm saying? There's many. You know what I'm saying? It'd be nice if they had one at 175. You know what I mean? There's four champions at 175 at light heavyweight. But at the end of the day, the winner of this World Boxing Super Series tournament, right going on right now, they should get a direct shot and just off GP from the man Alexander Usyk to fight the man. Fight him. Put his undisputed titles on the line against the winner of that tournament. You know what I mean? Alexander Usyk versus Lebedev, that'd be a good fight. That'd be a fight they'd have over there in Ukraine or Russia, Eastern Europe. I think I think Alexander Usyk will whitewash him. You know what I mean? Lebedev's washed up right now. You know what I'm saying? The fight with Gassiev was a close fight. I think he's fought once after that. You know what I'm saying? But he's a champion in recess right now. And I think his best days behind him. And Alexander Usyk, that's the new crop of the cruiserweight division. You know what I mean? Lebedev's days have come and gone. Um, Fix GRR says Usyk, I want AJ. That's what Usyk said. Um, Shizbit says, how about a Ward fight? Andre Ward, I think Andre Ward, if Andre Ward, when, he hasn't been in the ring in a while, and that right there would be the only thing that I could see here that might, you know, he might not win the fight versus Alexander Usyk just because of the ring rust not being in the ring. Even if Andre Ward is a disciplined fighter, always stays in shape. He might be in the gym working out. I don't know if he still spars. I doubt he still. I don't think he spars. But coming in fighting against Usyk right off the bat, I don't know about that, man. I don't know if he wins that straight up, because he ain't never fought at cruiserweight. You know what I mean? But if he gets a couple tune-up fights, like how he did versus Kovalev, one, maybe two, I think he can beat. And depends on how he looks versus them tune-up fights. And preferably them tune-up fights, at least one of them should be a former world champion at cruiserweight. Then I think he can beat his style. Stylistically, at their peak, at their best, prime for prime at their peak, I'd pick Andre Ward. You know what I'm saying? Because Andre Ward, you're going to have to show me a European fighter. You're going to have to show me an Eastern European fighter who can get in the trenches and got that inside game. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Want to get down and dirty, and gritty with it on the inside. I've yet to see one, and Andre Ward is a specialist at that. Look what he did to Carl Froch. Look what he did in the second half of that fight versus Andre. What's his name? Kovalev. You know what I mean? It was straight up a masterpiece of inside boxing. You know what I'm saying? Mm, what they saying in the chat? Fix GRR says, "Look over here. Look over here. Where? What? What you said about Usyk? Say I want AJ. The Fox Strike says Usyk versus Ward would be interesting. Yeah, it would be. But straight coming straight off the streets. You know, you know. that's not look, guys like Evander Holyfield, I'm sorry, James Toney, he got himself a cruiserweight title when he beat Vasil Girov. Then his next fight, he went up there and he beat Holyfield. You know what I mean? Holyfield was, Holyfield. It was a great victory. James Toney was Fighter of the Year that year, 2003. James Toney, one of my favorites of all time. Right? And the man Holyfield was coming off a loss, though he came off a loss to Chris Bird. But again, James Toney ain't just that was a good victory. But we also got to keep in context where Holyfield was at that stage of his career. You know what I mean? Holyfield, I'm not saying he was washed up, but this guy was like damn near, this at that stage he was an 18-year veteran. You know what I mean? When James Toney beat him, so James Toney ain't jump into the waters neither and go fight. I think he fought John Ruiz. He did actually, and that's a fight he tested positive for steroids. He gave him a master class of boxing. I was so happy he won a heavyweight title, but he tested positive. You know what I mean? But he had a couple fights before he went up for that heavyweight fight. You know what I'm saying? After beating Girov, great win, and the man, what's his name, Holyfield. Um, John Underwood. What's good, son? What's happening with you, Jay? Chilling, man. Chilling. I'm up in this joint. Fox Strike says low play suggested Stevenson versus Usyk for pound for pound. What do you think? Um, Man, Adonis Stevenson, is not the biggest of heavyweights. He's a shorter heavyweight. You know what I mean? Adonis Stevenson be coming in sometimes at like 173. He weighs in on weigh-in day on the Friday before the fight. 173. The difference between a light heavyweight and cruiserweight is 25 pounds. That's the biggest margin out of all the weight classes as far as weight difference. You know what I'm saying? You know, um, the man Stevenson got long limbs. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's able, to do what he do. You know what I'm saying? He's a master of distance and range. You know what I'm saying? It would be a good fight, but I think stylistically, again, two southpaws. You know what I'm saying? Donna Stevenson's stamina, man, it showed again in that fight, in the fight versus Badu Jack. That 12th round, he was looking like Dillian White. He ain't hit the canvas though. He ain't get dropped like Parker did Dillian White in the 12th. But shit, she was damn near getting about to get stopped in that fight. You know what I mean? And I fucks with Adonis Stevenson. That's my guy. You check it, but um, I don't know about if Stevenson is able to beat Usyk right now. You know what I mean? I think Stevenson is better off staying where he's at light heavyweight. I think there's this the skill difference too. You know what I mean? Alexander Usyk being a taller fighter, I think he might be able to box circles around the guy. You know what I mean? But he's gonna have to avoid getting hit with that left. But then we don't know if Adonis Stevenson power carries up. You know what I mean? We never seen him at cruiserweight. You know what I mean? He wanted Bellew. Adonis Stevenson did. He wanted Tony Bellew. You know what I'm saying? He said if Tony Bellew beats Alexander Usyk, he'd want to fight him. You know what I'm saying? For all cruiserweight titles. That's a fight I could see Stevenson taking if because he's a guy who had stopped him. He's the first man to stop him. You check it, you know. So what y'all saying in the chat? Yeah, man. So going up there to the heavyweight man division, even guys like what's his name? Michael Moore didn't go to cruiserweight. He was a light heavyweight, then jumped up straight to heavyweight. But in my opinion, his resume at at heavyweight was much better than light heavyweight. You know what I mean? He was a monstrous puncher at light heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? But also for him, it was difficult for him to make weight at light heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't getting the fights that he wanted at as far as unifying. You know what I mean? You check it, but as far as like as at light at heavyweight, man, he went up there. You know, he ain't fight no killers right away. You know what I'm saying? He ain't fight no Holyfields and Mike Tysons and none of those guys. You know what I mean? I remember that fight he had with Burt Cooper. That fight was a war. That fight was war. You gotta go see that if you ain't seen it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's when he became the what you call it. I think that was for like the WBO title. You know what I mean? You check it. So he fought guys like James Bone Crusher Smith, former world champion. You know what I'm saying? And before he fought guys like Holyfield. You know what I mean? So he had numerous fights before he fought the top gunners. You know what I mean? Even guys like David Hay, man. David Hay when he fought, who he beat? He beat Enzo Maccarinelli. And he cleared up. He ain't clean up. I think he had one more fight. He ain't fight. I think it was Adamic. You know what I mean? But when he beat Enzo Maccarinelli, he had three belts, and he went up to heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? And he fought Monte Barrett. You know what I mean? You check it. So you gotta get your feet wet. You know what I'm saying? Before you go up to heavyweight, and just think you can beat even the top contenders. You know what I'm saying? But there's certain guys like Pulev. I think that's a good fight for him right there. Um, Before even fighting a guy like Dillian White, I think he'd need to fight out Dillian White after he fought a couple tune-up fights. You know what I mean? Manuel Char, that's a guy I think he could beat, and they will put him in line for a WBA title shot versus AJ. You know what I'm saying? So these are the type of fights I think he should fight if he does move out to heavyweight. But as far as cruiserweight, he could wait for the winner of the World Boxing Super Series. When would that end though? Probably sometime next year. What are we in November? Who knows, man? I don't know. I don't know if he'll wait that long. You know what I'm saying? Because the winner of that tournament, it might happen in the summertime next year. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see, man. It'll be interesting to see. You know what I mean? So with that, with Usyk, if the World Boxing Super Series champion's going to take too long, then I could see him probably going to the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? Because realistically, he wouldn't probably have a fight with the winner of the World Boxing Super Series probably till probably fall of next year, sometime like this next year, like a year from now. And he ain't gonna be out the ring a year, you know what I'm saying? That's not good for business, you know what I'm saying? And it's not good for the inactivity, you know what I mean? This guy had an extensive amateur career. Another guy actually that, speaking of his amateur career, Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is actually would be a good option, you know what I'm saying? Look, these two guys fought, I think, in that Aiba joint, you know what I'm saying? Um, and if the man Alexander Usyk thinks he can still beat Joe Joyce right now, that's a viable fight right there. You know what I mean? I'd love to see that shit in the pros. Would Joe Joyce take that fight right now? You know what I'm saying? At heavyweight, considering he's 6-0 at heavyweight, might be too early for him. You know what I'm saying? But the man Alexander Usyk, would he want that fight himself? You know what I mean? Let me see what they saying in the chat. Fix GRR says, let's see how he takes on the other Ukrainian Gravstik. Yeah, that's a very good fight, ladies and gents. That's a very good fight that Superman Stevenson versus Gravstik. Fox Strike says, I think Superman gonna KO him. Yeah, I think so too. I think he should be able to stop him or knock him out. You know what I mean? But then again, these are the type of fights that it's almost like that Fonfora fight, the first fight. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's a guy from four who showed that, you know what I'm saying, he could go toe to toe with the man Stevenson, you know what I mean? He just couldn't take them body shots. He even dropped the man Stevenson, you know what I mean? And you know, Stevenson better not underestimate this kid Grosdick, you know what I mean? But I don't think, you know, Grosdick's last few performances have been underwhelming, you know what I'm saying? Fox Strikes, okay. Fox Strike says Ward talked about hoping to go to heavyweight. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. You know, but he's retired. You know, I would, if I were him, I wouldn't even go out to heavyweight before the cruiserweight, a division he's never fought at. You know what I'm saying? Um, Fox Strike says I wouldn't be surprised if they match Usyk with David Allen first. Yeah, I could see that too. You know what I mean? Matchroom boxing, a guy that they've always had. He's been on the few pay-per-views lately. That's a fight that it's a, you know, it's a good exposure for both guys. You know what I mean? You check it as far as you know, Usyk for the UK public. Of course, he fought Bellew. You know what I mean? And fighting another UK guy so they could get more familiar with him, kind of like they did Joseph Parker with back-to-back fights in the UK. Was it back-to-back? It was back-to-back-to-back. Fury, AJ, and Dillian White. You know what I mean? You know, so and you know David Allen getting to fight a guy like Alexander Usyk. Um, Fox Strike says Stevenson's taking these top contenders fights too late. He's 40 plus now. Yeah, you know, I agree. Right now he's taking his first mandatory since Tony Bellew in 2013. You know, he's had mandatories like Kovalev, who's pulled out of two purse bids. So if Kovalev didn't pull out of two purse bids in 2015 and 2016, then we would have been had that fight, and he would have fought Amando, and it would have been, it would have been a top, not only a top contender, it would have been a unification. You know what I'm saying? Alidia Alvarez, that situation right there, I think it was a power play from the man. What do you call it? Yvonne Michelle. I think Yvonne Michelle was milking the cow as far as you know, putting Alvarez in there with former Canadian champions. You know what I'm saying? And former Canadian, you know, Canada's, is a place. You know what I mean? They got some boxing history. You know what I'm saying? Of course, guys like Sam Langford. You know what I mean, from Canada, but he was never a world champion. But great fighter, you know what I mean, Hall of Famer, but you can call guys like Lucien Boutte and Jean Pascal Canadian boxing legends. You know, these guys have had numerous world title defenses, world title fights. They've reached, these guys are guys that Alvarez fought and he beat. You know what I'm saying? And those are good profile fights for him. You know what I mean? Um, and I think the man Alidia Alvarez, he never got no step aside money, not even once. His trainer said that. Mark Ramsey, he said that on the Boxing Voice interview. Not no phone call shit. Face to face talk with the man Nestor Gibbs from the Boxing Voice. You check it. So that was a power play for the man Yvonne Michelle, the promoter of both guys Stevenson and Alvarez, to try to get the man another title. You know what I mean? You check it. Yvonne Michelle got 3 world champions at light heavyweight. He also has Arthur Beterbiev. You know what I'm saying? But although I'm not too sure as of right now, as I mentioned that, what kind of contract he is right now with Yvonne Michelle and Beterbiev, because Beterbiev's on the zone. You know what I mean? So I'm not too sure right now. But before the man fought on the zone with Callum Smith, he was with Yvonne Michelle. You know what I mean? So Adonis Stevenson didn't get that fight because you know what I mean. There were other fights out there for the man Alvarez, and I think they was trying to build it up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna say Alvarez didn't want to fight, but if he really wanted to fight, he would have taken course and action. You know what I'm saying? to take that fight. You know what I'm saying? Not step off like at least 3 times. You know what I mean? You check it. So he's a world champion right now. Ring Magazine has him as the #1 light heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? And I think Bivol's #2, and Stevenson they dropped him to #3. Doesn't matter to me where they put him at Ring Magazine, because their credibility been done fell off. You know what I'm saying? And Adonis Stevenson's still the lineal champion in the division. You know what I'm saying? So that still makes him #1. You know. Um, so it is what it is. You know what I mean? I think the man Adonis Stevenson, I mean, he has no choice but to fight these top contenders now. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's about high time he tries to unify. True, we need a unification at light heavyweight. I don't like seeing no four champions walking around planet Earth, four title holders calling themselves world champions, even though Stevenson's a world champion. You know what I'm saying? I don't like seeing that. You know what I mean? That we need one champion. You know what I mean? One face, one belt. You check it. So Shizbis says Caballero would be a good tune-up fight. Good tune-up fight for who? The Fox Strike says to a Chizbiz, that could be a very boring fight. Which fight? Who's Caballero? You gotta put me on. I'm lost there. Caballero would be a good tune-up fight for who? And how would it be a boring fight? Let me know before I seal the deal on this live stream. Yeah, man. But Alexander Usyk, the main topic of this live stream, you know, he's in a position right now where, hey, you know, it's either stay at cruiserweight or move to heavyweight. You know what I mean? And I know he's gonna be who's Caballero, Fox Strikes? I'm not too familiar with Caballero. Who's he? I'm not familiar at all with Caballero. You gotta put me on. Let me know who that is. I might have seen him. I'm not sure. Doesn't sound familiar. Um. Oh, okay. That dude who beat Chisora up there in Monaco. Okay, that's his name. Yeah. Okay, I saw that fight. True indeed. I haven't seen him fight ever since. You know what I mean? But that's a good tune-up fight, no question. You know what I'm saying? As far as I'm not familiar with the guy like that. I just seen him in fight in that fight. You know what I'm saying? And I was just perplexed how Derek Chisora was struggling with this guy. You know what I mean? A guy whom I never heard of. But we'll see. You know what I'm saying? But I think the man Alex Usyk would probably want a little bit more high-profile fights than that guy. You know what I mean? That guy got to do some more in boxing. Maybe even Carlos Takam is a good option for the man Usyk. You know what I mean? But overall, the goal is to get to Anthony Joshua. The goal is to have a big build up. Two former world champions, not world champions, excuse me. Two gold medalists. You know what I mean? You know, two gold medalists in the Olympics, and Alexander Usyk would like that payday. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we shall see. We shall find out. You know what I mean? But I don't think guys like Dillian White, Big Baby, Anthony Joshua, these guys are not good for a first fight for him. You know what I mean? That's a bad matchup right there. He got to get his feet wet. But B Marsh Boxing about to seal the deal on this live stream. Thanks for everybody coming through. Finks GRR, Fox Strikes, John Underwood, Shiz Biz. And yeah, man, thanks for everybody coming through, man. Let me know in the comment section who you guys would like to see. Anybody listening to this on the archives, let me know who you guys would like to see the man um, Alexander Usyk fight next. Me personally, I would like to see him possibly fight the winner of the World Boxing Super Series tournament. But if he can't wait that long, because that probably the winner out of that won't probably happen in the maybe let's say summertime of next year. You know what I'm saying? And then if he goes to heavyweight, you know what I mean? Um, I think there's guys out there, you know what I'm saying? Manuel Char, I think would be probably a very good consideration. And guys like Pulev, you know what I mean? I think he could beat Pulev right now. Right now he can beat Pulev. Pulev ain't show me nothing um, fighting that man Huey Fury, because Huey Fury he's not a fighter. He's just big for nothing. But then again, Alexander Pulev is a mandatory IBF title shot for the man Anthony Joshua. We'll see if you want to take that fight this go around. B Marsh Boxing, I'm out of here. Fox Strike says, peace, have a good day. Send to you, brethren. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.